Welcome to this explainer. Today we're exploring a deeply fascinating ancient concept, mantras. Think about the last time you walked past a yoga studio or maybe a meditation center. You probably heard it, right? That low, rhythmic hum, a chant just kind of echoing through the walls. For a lot of us, it honestly just sounds like mystical background noise, like a spiritual aesthetic. But we're not just looking at mantras as mystical chants today. No, we're going to break them down through the highly structured lens of cosmic resonance and astrology. So if you absolutely love understanding how things work on a fundamental, almost mechanical level, well, you're exactly in the right place. We're going to unpack how sacred sounds are actually viewed as incredibly precise tools for psychological tuning.
Okay, let's dive into this. For centuries, across so many different cultures, there's been this massive misconception about what chanting actually does. Like, is a mantra some sort of magical command meant to just bend the universe to your will? Or is it something way more internal, a deliberate, psychological tuning process? Well, by the end of this explainer, the source material gives us a profound, completely mechanical answer to this exact question.
Here is how we will break this all down, moving from the macro to the micro and back out again. 1. The cosmic field. 2. The planetary playlist. 3. Seed syllables and birth charts. And 4. The universal tuning process. Starting off with Section 1, the cosmic field, the universe of rhythm.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how Vedic astrology completely redefines our relationship with the cosmos through this idea of a graha. Usually, right, when we think of planets, we think of basic physics. We picture these massive spheres of gas and rock held together by gravity just floating around in a silent vacuum. But in this framework, the universe isn't just operating by blunt physical force. Actually, scratch that. It's understood as this vast, continuous field of rhythm, cycle, and resonance. A graha, which literally translates to a planetary intelligence, acts as a carrier of symbolic frequencies. And these frequencies directly correspond to patterns within your very own human mind. It's this foundational link. The cosmos and human psychology are essentially mirroring each other through resonance. What's happening out there is vibrating at the exact same frequency as what's happening inside you. Mind-blowing, right?
Moving right along to Section 2, the planetary playlist, frequencies and intelligences. And this brilliantly illustrates the solution to how we might actually interact with those cosmic rhythms. Vedic astrology offers this incredibly clear framework for the mapping. Each planetary intelligence governs highly specific syllables, meters, and vibrational qualities. Take a second to think about the sun. It's linked with sounds that evoke vitality, warmth, and illumination. It's a very bright, outward-moving frequency. But then contrast that with the moon, which connects with softer, flowing, fluid sounds that are meant to cultivate emotional stability and nurture. Mars, on the other hand, favors sharper, forceful, almost percussive vibrations to spark courage and drive. It literally feels completely different in the chest and throat than, say, a Venus-related mantra, which relies on harmonizing sweet, rhythmic tones to attract connection. Mercury? Well, that resonates with quick, articulate sounds designed to sharpen the intellect. Jupiter is expansive and resonant for deep wisdom. And Saturn requires much slower, weightier, highly repetitive vibrations to cultivate deep discipline and endurance. Even the shadow planets Rahu and Ketu have highly specific sounds intended to cut through confusion and catalyze transformation. So, you see, sacred sounds aren't just general one-size-fits-all spells you throw at the wall hoping they stick. They are highly specialized tuning forks. Because they're specialized tools, mantras are quite literally never chosen randomly. Astrologically, the sound becomes an actual bridge between your current psychological state and a specific cosmic symbolism. Imagine you're going through a period in your life dominated by emotional turbulence. Anxiety, rapid changes, just that feeling of being totally ungrounded. In that scenario, the soft, flowing, water-like vibrations of a moon-related mantra would be prescribed to cool and soothe all that turbulence. Conversely, if you're going through a brutal period that requires pure endurance, patience, and humility, you wouldn't want a soft frequency at all. You'd absolutely use a Saturn-related mantra. You aren't chanting because the sound just magically erases your bad luck or karma. You're doing it because that specific vibration physically and mentally aligns your mind with the exact lesson that Saturn represents. Let's zoom in a bit for Section 3, seed syllables and birth charts, the mechanics of sound. So the crucial point is, to truly grasp how mantras work at a micro level, we have to look at the ancient Sanskrit concept of nada. This is the profound idea that creation itself arises from sound. In modern times, we kind of tend to think of sound as just a byproduct, right? Two physical objects collide and boom, a sound is produced as an afterthought. But in this worldview,
It's the exact opposite. Sound is the foundational building block of reality. Before there is form, there is frequency. Everything in the material world at its absolute core is simply a vibration that has coalesced into matter.
Building on that foundation, we arrive at bija mantras, or seed syllables. Words like Om, Hreem, Shreem, and Kleem. These are incredibly unique in human language because they aren't meant to be translated literally. You don't just look these up in a Sanskrit dictionary to find a sentence defining them. No, their entire value lies solely in their vibrational pattern and their concentrated archetypal energy. Think of it kind of like a musical chord. A C minor chord doesn't have a dictionary definition, but it makes you feel a very specific, undeniable emotion, right? Because these specific syllables are believed to resonate directly with particular planetary, elemental, or deity principles, the exact pronunciation, the way you use your breath, and the physical resonance in your body are absolutely vital. The mechanical vibration of the sound literally is the tool itself.
And this isn't just a generalized, abstract system. It gets highly personalized through nakshatras, or lunar mansions. In Vedic astrology, the specific placement of the moon at the exact time, day, and year of your birth connects you to a particular sound stream. Your specific chart placement indicates which syllables might feel intuitively familiar or deeply supportive to your unique inner rhythm. For example, someone with their moon in a fiery, aggressive nakshatra might find rapid, rhythmic, almost staccato chants deeply centering and regulating for their nervous system. Meanwhile, someone else might find that exact same chant highly agitating. Instead, they might need long, drawn-out, breathy vowels to find their center. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean other mantras won't work for you at all. It just suggests that because of your inherent karmic pattern, certain frequencies are going to harmonize much more naturally with your mind. It's exactly like a radio that comes out of the box already perfectly tuned to your absolute favorite station.
Okay, let's move to and see how this builds into our final segment. Section 4, the Universal Tuning Process, Global Resonance.
What we find is that this underlying mechanism of rhythmic resonance appears practically everywhere across the globe. We see it in Tibetan Buddhism, Islamic zikr, Christian chant, Sikh Gurbani, and of course, the Sanskrit systems we've been discussing today. These devotional systems developed within completely unique spiritual worldviews. They map the cosmos differently. They use entirely different sacred tongues, whether it's Arabic, Hebrew, Pali, Latin, or Sanskrit. But listen closely to the mechanics. You have the deep, guttural, earth-shaking throat singing of Tibetan monks. You have the rapid, intense, breath-driven rhythmic chanting of Islamic dhikr. You have the soaring, ethereal, sustained notes of Gregorian chants. Astrologically and mechanically, you can observe a shared fundamental common principle across the board. They all utilize repetitive sacred sound to entrain the human mind.
And this brings us to the core realization of our explainer today. A mantra is not a magical command. The repeated vibration regulates your attention, it regulates your breath, and it regulates your emotional rhythm. Through repetition, deliberate attention, and intention, the practitioner gradually aligns their inner, chaotic self with a highly specific, chosen archetype. Whether that archetype is deep peace, unwavering devotion, fierce courage, expansive wisdom, or ironclad discipline, it is fundamentally a highly deliberate, mechanical tuning process for the human psyche.
I really want to highlight this powerful quote directly from the source material because it perfectly encapsulates everything we've uncovered. The diversity of sacred sounds across traditions reflects the diversity of paths through which human beings seek harmony with the larger order of the cosmos. This is such a brilliant, unifying way to understand human spirituality. Different traditions use specific vibrations because consciousness is universally approached through resonance, not through rigid uniformity. Just as different planets express different qualities in the sky, different sounds awaken entirely different dimensions of the human psyche right down here on Earth.
So I want to leave you with a question to reflect on. Based on everything we've looked at today, from the macrocosmic field all the way down to the specific planetary playlist, which archetype, peace, devotion, courage, wisdom, or discipline does your inner rhythm need to tune to today? Understanding this framework gives you the remarkable agency to realize that your current state of mind isn't entirely fixed. It's a frequency, and frequencies can be tuned. Thanks for learning with me today. I highly encourage you to keep exploring how these ancient rhythms might harmonize with your own life.